Hello and welcome back. Today's episode is on homage films, cinematic reverence. Homage in film is a gesture of reverence, one that recalls and recontextualizes cinematic history through sincere stylistic, thematic, or narrative echoes. Unlike parody, which critiques through exaggeration, or pastiche, which imitates without necessarily caring, homage typically evokes an affective connection to its source, signaling admiration, inheritance, or dialogue. As Thomas Leach notes, homage restores emotional engagement with the past through selective reproduction. Homage thus becomes not merely referential but transformative, connecting different eras, geographies, and sensibilities within a framework of artistic continuity. Unlike pastiche, which tends to foreground stylistic collage and genre hybridity, homage often limits itself to one referent or a single tradition. This can take the form of direct quotation, like recreating a line or shot, stylistic imitation, as in camera movement or lighting, narrative or thematic mirroring, or tonal echoes that conjure another director or cinematic era. Wong Kar-wai's Pitch Perfect in the Mood for Love draws on the formal compositions and melancholic longing of 1960s East Asian cinema, especially the films of Ozu and Naruse, while generating a deeply modern meditation on romantic restraint. Todd Haynes' Far From Heaven adopts Douglas Sirk's melodramatic form, using its hyper-stylized aesthetics to explore race, gender, and sexuality in 1950s America with more explicit critique. In both cases, homage is not pastiche, it is a mirror angled toward the past to illuminate the present. Contemporary filmmakers have used homage to conjure a sense of loss, of medium, memory, or innocence. Charlotte Wells's Aftersun blends elliptical editing with personal memory and home video aesthetics, invoking the textures of 1990s realism, while also nodding to the emotional rhythms of films by Claire Denis. Similarly, Shirkers functions as both autobiography and homage, an excavation of a lost youth film reframed by Sandy Tan as a meditation on artistic betrayal and post-colonial authorship. The Red Turtle and Hugo both pay homage to the origins of cinema, the former through Studio Ghibli's painterly tradition and silent-era allegory, the latter through Martin Scorsese's digital recreation of Georges Méliès's fantastical tableau. These films locate their homage not in genre or narrative, but in animation and visual spectacle, marking reverence through medium specificity. Ceylon's Once Upon a Time in Anatolia is steeped in Tarkovskian stillness, and Antonioni's landscapes of existential drift, using its homage to articulate the slowness of time, justice, and remorse. In contrast, Hard to Be a God submerges its homage to Soviet-era historical epics beneath a grotesque, immersive mise-en-scene, a brutal, visceral update of Tarkovsky's metaphysical science fiction. In both, homage serves as philosophical continuation more than formal mimicry. Cinema about cinema provides especially fertile ground for homage. Giuseppe Tornatore's Cinema Paradiso offers not just a nostalgic paean to projectionists and childhood filmgoing, but a testimonial to cinema as emotional and communal memory. J.J. Abrams' Super 8 resurrects Spielbergian youth adventures, but repositions them in an age of digital filmmaking and fractured families. Both films layer their stories with a love for the cinematic past, not as imitation, but as renewal. Homage in these cases becomes an ethical and emotional posture. It preserves the affective bonds between films, filmmakers, and audiences, and reanimates historical forms in contemporary registers. As Paul Ricoeur might argue, such gestures reflect not only memory, but a hermeneutic of care, a commitment to the cultural persistence of forms through transformation. In the best homage films, the past is not static citation, but a living interlocutor. Ultimately, homage is about placing oneself within a tradition while gently altering its shape. It is an act of generosity between filmmakers across generations, a reminder that cinema is not merely innovation but conversation. It can be playful, solemn, subversive, or celebratory, but it is always dialogic, speaking across time with films that still have something to say. Homage, then, while it certainly can be nostalgia, does not necessarily stop there. At its best, it can be a form of creative inheritance, and in a world where the past is endlessly recycled, it offers an opportunity to engage history and have an artistic conversation with those one admires who came before with both respect and authorship.